Hello, my friends. This is part two, and this will be a two-part series. So this is the last part of a series of videos on misinformation about vibrational astrology. And where we're at now in this discussion is that I'm explaining that vibrational astrology is an evidence-based practice. I have a lot of videos that go into tremendous detail on this, but let me review it a little quickly here. The term evidence-based medicine was introduced by a fellow Gordon Guyot and his team in 1991. And evidence-based medicine is the first use of the term evidence-based. So evidence-based started with the word medicine, and they introduced this term, evidence-based medicine, to shift the emphasis in clinical decision-making from intuition, unsystematic clinical experience, and pathopsychologic rationale to scientific, clinically relevant research. So until the 1990s, medicine was using fairly arbitrary rules in actual practice. So there's a lot of research information done in medical research, but it actually didn't get used by your doctor and your nurses. This is a huge, incredibly crazy problem, and finally in the 1990s gets addressed. It's a long story to it, and I have a whole series of videos on this, but the bottom line is that it's in the 1990s when evidence-based practice begins to be implemented. In 1992, the American Psychological Association starts to build the foundations to build psychology practice as an evidence-based practice. It becomes formalized and fully explained in 2005. Since then, there are periodic updates. So this is all within the past few decades that these disciplines, medicine, psychology, and many other fields, become evidence-based practices. It's not the same as saying science or anything else. There's very strict rules and guidelines. And that's what vibrational astrology is. And so what Eberton did with cosmobiology was a prototype. It was the same kind of idea before these regulations and guidelines had been developed. So in vibrational astrology, we do use theories. Why do we have theories in vibrational astrology? For the same reason we have them in other fields. They help explain the findings, helps put them into a context and understand them, and it helps make new discoveries. That's one of the wonderful things about theory. But in an evidence-based practice like vibrational astrology or any modern evidence-based practice, theory supports observation, not the other way around. You don't have a theory, a paradigm, say, oh, my paradigm must be right. You just use the paradigm, the theories, the concepts, the theoretical framework, as long as it's helpful, as long as it's making sense. At some point, it may change. It may happen in 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 years from now. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow, that somebody will do some research and will say, ooh, that doesn't fit our current theories. And maybe vibration no longer becomes the fundamental principle of vibrational astrology, at which point the term vibrational astrology would become a misnomer, in the sense that maybe astrology is not fundamentally vibrational. In vibrational astrology, we're not wedded to the idea that everything is vibrational. It's just the concept we're using currently because it works so beautifully. And we make new discoveries constantly. If you're a member of my YouTube channel, you know that a few weeks before making this video, I made one on new insights into 25 vibration, new insights into compatibility. A few weeks before that, new insights and ways to understand forecasting. Just last week, we're discovering, improving, changing, incorporating ideas. We're exploring ideas that taking from other systems, seeing what can be there. We're not wedded to a philosophy or a theory. We just use the theory as long as it works. This is fundamental to an evidence-based practice. So what do we have right now in vibrational astrology? Number one, a large body of evidence from research using modern research methods. Some people say, well, I wonder when we'll get evidence that astrology works. Well, we have it. It's already been done. Dozens of studies, very compelling and convincing studies. It's already established. Vibrational astrology is, right now, an evidence-based practice. And then number two, we get confirmation in client work. Can't just work with data analysis. It's got to work with your clients. Number three, we're very lucky to have a sophisticated, intricate, and completely internal, consistent theoretical framework. So we have worked out in incredible detail how astrology works, why it works, and what it's doing. It involves things like Fibonacci numbers and prime number patterns, and they're not just vague, inspirational woo-woo stuff. It's worked out in tremendous detail how these things are formed. So we're lucky that we have that, because that helps us make new discoveries, understand why this is going on. It helps pull it all together and make sense of it, and it's really helping in our research. But those theories are going to change at some point. As soon as we make a discovery that doesn't fit within those theories, everything's evolving and changing, and quite fast. So to review what vibrational astrology is and help make it clear that the misinformation out there that vibrational astrology and harmonic astrology are synonymous. Oh my God, they're so completely different. The way of approaching the chart, the way of understanding how it works, extremely different. Even the techniques and tools are very different. So the heart of vibrational, just to summarize a few things about vibrational astrology, the heart of it is simple. We just use what works, exactly what Eberton was doing. We have measurable effects, and there's already established and confirmed through our rigorous research. It's already underway. It's already happening. We already have very solid studies. The revolution has already started. The revolution that there is now an evidence-based practice, an evidence-based astrology. This is our passion, and this is what we are dedicated to, developing astrology as an evidence-based practice. And the tools, the techniques, the methods, the understanding has gone way, way, way outside the realm of anything that Addy talked about or Eberton talked about, and not even visualizing astrology in the same manner. Vibrational astrology is a new discipline born out of the information age tools. Without the information age tools, modern computers and all the things we have access to never would have happened. Extreme patience and perseverance, not only by myself, but our research team. My God, some of the people on the research team, night and day, waking up in the middle of the night to figure out how astrology works to solve these problems. We're actually looking at the data, seeing what's happening, seeing what happens when we apply it. And the big breakthrough is the book, The Astrology of Bipolar Disorder, a scientific breakthrough. That's the big new bridge to this new paradigm, this new way of understanding astrology, and getting a lot of attention from people in academia and business, because we speak the same language as universities do, and businesses that want to have actionable data. It's solidly evidence-based. And a few more points I just want to underscore. I think I've made this clear in the first part of the series, but I want to just say again that John Addy's system of harmonic astrology did not use midpoints. I have never seen it mentioned once. The Iranian astrology, which is a variation of cosmobiology is actually a more simplified and solidly empirically supported subset of Uranian astrology. Also, it functioned almost completely distinct from harmonic astrology. And in the 70s and 80s, especially around the 70s, cosmobiology was very popular, more popular than it is now. Harmonic astrology was more popular than it is now. Harmonic astrology, as Addy developed it, you might say maybe to some extent superseded by vibrational astrology, which incorporates a few ideas from harmonic astrology. But those two systems, my point is this, in the 70s, Cosmobiology. You could go to an astrology conference. I went to many in the 70s, and there will be lectures on cosmobiology. There would be lectures on harmonic astrology. They were pretty separate worlds. The people in harmonic astrology never used midpoints. The people in cosmobiology never talking about quintiles, septiles, even something as simple as that. Two different worlds. That some astrologers are saying that midpoint system of Everton and the harmonic system of Addy are like two, like twins or sisters, is a little nuts, frankly, because even when they were both popular at the same time, very little overlap, very little exchange, just two very different paradigms. So that idea that they're like twins is very, very different. Everybody thinks they're using evidence, by the way. Everybody thinks their system works because they do lots of charts. So anyway, just very, very different. And the other thing I've hinted at, but I just want to mention, in vibrational astrology, another thing that's unique about vibrational astrology, all these systems are unique. Vedic astrology is very unique, and there's different kinds of Vedic astrology, of course. But one of the unique things about vibrational astrology is how we understand how zodiac signs and houses are created. Sometimes I'll see on Facebook people say something about, well, why would zodiac signs work? They must be seasons. I've made like a dozen videos on all the details of why there are zodiac signs. We have a very comprehensive and sophisticated system for understanding a lot of the foundations of astrology. I just want to mention that about ideas of spin, which is one of the three fundamental properties of subatomic particles, etc. It's all worked out in considerable detail. We've gone over it with different physicists and other scientists. Very detailed technical analysis that integrates ideas in quantum physics, the standard model in physics, chaos theory, fractal theory, not in some vague, just general way, but worked out in a lot of detail for a lot of specific methods used in vibrational astrology. And I have dozens of hours of tutorial videos. They're only for YouTube members and not available to the public. So if you're a member, you have access to all that. And I don't even cover in my courses that I teach to train people to be practicing astrologers. I don't even teach the details of this theoretical framework. Because it's not that important for a practicing astrologer. By analogy, you can say that to drive a car, I don't need to know the technical details of the transmission or what's under the hood in general. I just need to know how to drive the car. And somebody who can fix your car maybe is not a very good driver of the car. Better analogy is someone who designs an airplane maybe doesn't have a pilot's license to fly an airplane. So flying an airplane is a different skill set than engineering an airplane. And people that learn how to fly airplanes do not become experts in engineering a plane. They might learn a few general principles, but that's it. So, and vice versa. So what we have here is, in vibrational astrology, we happen to have this whole technical foundation for how astrology works, for those who are interested in that. And there's nothing like this in harmonic astrology or cosmobiology. Some people are saying that, the way that vibrational astrology integrates with physics and even quantum physics, it's part of this whole harmonic astrology, cosmobiology. Oh my God, where did they get this idea? It's just, no, it wasn't part of it. We need to respect and honor what people are actually doing. And I've had that relationship with David Hamblin and other harmonic astrologers, and still have it today with ones that are there. And we understand what each other's doing. We respect it. We appreciate it. We can disagree, and we compare and contrast. And we don't want to whitewash and misrepresent and misstate historically what happened. So there are differences between different systems of astrology. I'll read this last sentence here, last paragraph. Failing to appreciate and respect that things are different. So in sports, baseball and basketball, they're different sports, different rules. Throw them together and say baseball and basketball are the same thing, is going to confuse people. People are going to go out on the basketball court with a baseball bat and say, "Oh, I got my bat, let's go." And that's actually what's happening now. People are so confused by this information. And they asked me to make this video, so here it is. And I'll also add in, it's really disrespectful. I feel kind of bad for a lot of my friends, some of whom are no longer alive, like David Hamblin. We work together so much to respect and honor and communicate what's going on, and now people are just messing up the whole thing and confusing everybody. So I think it's disrespectful and even arrogant to fail to give full credit to those who actually develop these different systems and what the relationships are between them. And that's another thing that's happening. Misrepresentation of what the history is, who did what, why, etc. It's all just kind of messed up. And I hope this series of 2 videos helps clarify that. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it makes it clear that all these systems of astrology, vibrational, harmonic, cosmobiology, Uranian, symmetrical, Vedic, pre-Hellenistic Vedic, evolutionary, humanistic, classical, medieval, Hellenic, etc., they're all different, and they have their own internal consistency and their own way of understanding and making sense of things. So that's it. I have a little note here that there's some new investigations into what we're calling pre-Hellenistic Vedic, and it's got some similarities to vibrational. Fascinating. I talked about that at the 2023 Vibrational Astrology Conference. So there are all these systems, and sometimes you'll see some similarities of thought. It's fun. Okay, and here's some review of some fundamental ideas in vibrational astrology, and I'm just going to emphasize the title here. It's a new paradigm that is internally consistent. By internally consistent, we mean everything fits together beautifully. It all fits into one visualization of, one comprehensive understanding of what it even means to be a human being, and what the planets are doing and how they're affecting us and what we do about it. And the way vibrational astrology understands is very different from that way in harmonics. A lot of the ideas on what we do with the astrology and how we respond, what we decide based on our charts, in vibrational astrology is very similar to modern Western. So we integrated different ideas and they all fit together in this new system. You will see different similarities in different systems. In Hellenistic astrology, they use a Time Lord system. In Vedic astrology, they use dashas. They're very similar. The actual dasha system and the Time Lord system, the rules are different. They're done differently, but conceptually there's a vague similarity. So you will find some similarities, of course, between different systems. But what's going on now of throwing them all together and saying things about each of these systems that's just not true has really confusing people. Okay, I think that's the end. Here's just some resources for books, some of the books we've published, classes. Currently, Starling Brighter, Christopher Pridham. The annual Vibrational Astrology Conference is a fantastic way to get into the vibrational astrology community and world and what's going on. Of course, there are my videos. The Association of Vibrational Astrologers is an organization that's growing and developing. There will be certification programs and other things coming out in the coming years. So many thanks to all of you. Actually, this video is for members only. Thank you so much for being a member. Thank you for watching this. God bless. Namaste.